welcome to Raise High here at George Washington. Coach Caputo, we have lots to talk about. Christian Jones, what an outstanding find he's been. Ty Bevins playing, these are the young guys.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the veterans. We want to talk about your high Ken Palm rating. We want to talk about how much season's left and how many good things you've done. I know you had a tough week. You had Duquesne, who's playing better, comes in, kind of gets a couple shots. Mason, double overtime loss. What's going on in the team locker room like right now? Like, are they understanding how well you're doing? Like, for highest rating for Ken Palm, which I trust, and so is Coach Caputo, in 10 years. Okay, that means where your ratings, your net rankings, everything's going well, but you have 2 losses in a week. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, both games. I mean, we have a play to we cut it to 1 against Duquesne with 5 minutes to go. Then actually had a layup when they made a great defensive play to block.
I know. I thought it was a goaltend.
It was a goaltend, and they went and checked it. It would have been 1 again with 1:18. So obviously free throws at the end of the George Mason game with 1.9 left to win the game. Raphael misses them, but then he comes back and makes them to send us to a second overtime. So these are 1-possession games. I think the group understands the duality of you got to do everything you need to do to get in position to win any game in our league. And yet, hey, some of this stuff is out of our control. Like they made a couple of defensive plays or maybe a whistle here and there, one way or the other. And so, I think we've got a good mindset and a good approach to this and a healthy understanding of how much it's going to take to win. It's just not easy. I mean, we've been in so many 1-possession games in league play. It's incredible.
Look, we're in an NFL town. We're actually in an NFL 2-team town, one ahead of schedule, and the Commanders and the Ravens, as we know, have a tough loss where a guy drops a pass and they have the MVP. These things happen.
Yeah.
The higher you go in the mountain, and here you're climbing it. Like, in other words, it's year 3. Your team's deeper. You beat Dayton here and thoroughly beat Dayton here. Go to Rhode Island and win. Like, these are big wins. I know the younger generation, they're like, okay, what's next? But you understand that there can be setbacks, not bad ones.
Yeah.
How do you say we're right on the right track, even though we lost by 1? And I understand that. Now we have to go to UMass, which will be after this, and St. Louis is coming here, which is a huge home game. Like, are you worried about protecting home court? Are you worried about just the next game?
No, I think just the next game. Yeah, the league, just the next game. I think the margins are so slim. I think, again, we're reminding them about some of the numbers that basically say we're doing, as well as we've done in quite a long time.
10 years.
Yeah, and then also the understanding that this was never going to be a quick fix and that what we're doing is trying to sustain excellence at some point, right? To get there takes time to get up that mountaintop, and then to stay up there, you have to do some things that are very difficult and take a long time to do. But our group has been great. I think our senior leadership, like the guys like Sean Hansen and Gerald Drumgold, those guys have been good. They've been through it. They've had a good perspective. Rafael Castro, an older guy, even though he'll be returning, like those guys have had a lot of different experiences that they can share with the group. Our younger guys they've had a lot of experience. They've had some incredible wins. They've had some disappointments. And so I think we've been hardened by all our experiences. And that's what you need. You need a hardness to you to be able to go move on from wins, move on from losses, to try to play the next very good game.
And if you look at your conference, you've been in Richmond, you had the game, it's down there, but everyone's like, well, they had the game at Richmond. They have won a lot at Richmond. They went to the NCAA right here in D.C. 2 years ago. So, like, people forget they had a lot of older kids. Yeah, they're in a transition year. The VCU, St. Bonnie's, Dayton are perennial powers that have been around. Rhode Island's coming, so there's a lot of work to do. But GW seems to be
all programs we've beat in the last 3 years.
That's kind of what I'm going. That's what I mean. That's what I'm kind of going. And you won at VCU. All these things are coming. But the young guys, I got to tell you, although you should have played Christian Jones last year. No, I'm only kidding. How good he is. You got him to redshirt, and he said, now Bevins took a few weeks, but he's making threes.
Yeah,
Christian Jones
those guys
and
are
Bevins, longer than I thought, taller than I thought.
Yeah, those guys are like old school freshmen back in the day. Christian's a little bit older, but last year he wasn't, and he was 170 pounds. And they're like, hey, we need you to gain 20-something pounds to be the type of player you can be as a freshman.
Outstanding.
He bought into
Johnny Rhodes type hands. Anytime he's
great
around
hands,
the ball, whether he's guarding it
he's
or
got long
someone's
arms,
near
great
him.
hands. Yeah, he had 7 steals against Duquesne. But Diane Nessa and Ty Bevins, both 18-year-olds.
We're gonna talk about the impact of the older guys when we get back. But of course, those young guys, and they should be happy here. And we're going to go into the Power Five guys and how well they've done here. But Hanson and Drumgoole, let's just close with this first segment. Hanson and Drumgoole, Cornell and Delaware. Yeah, I know Drumgoole's been around, but still, they're coming from a little bit smaller program to here. How's their vibe? Like, how are they fitting in? Besides helping, do you think they're really happy? Like, do you feel them being?
No, they're
they
great.
Look great.
Yeah,
they look great
you
for my
you
position.
couldn't ask for two better teammates, two better guys. I mean, I've been so happy with those guys, and their performance has been good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we're coming back to Raise High. We have Coach Caputo for another segment. Lots to talk about, including upcoming schedule and why Power 5 guys do so well under him when they transfer here.
So, yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
Welcome back to Raise High here at GW, Coach. We have so many things we could talk about. But St. Louis, Saturday at 2 p.m., You need your home crowd because the Dayton atmosphere here was electric.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously we know the Smith Center, Winfield, is just one of the great environments, really on the East Coast, in my opinion, it can be.
Great,
we've seen it.
Size.
Yeah, I don't know that they always did things right 50 years ago in terms of building buildings. They did this building right. This is a great building.
This and Dodger Stadium are the two older buildings that are perfectly built in major cities.
Yeah.
Buchanan's back. I know it was a setback having him hurt. Darren does so many things. He plays with such force.
Yeah.
What is it for like a guy that plays that hard to come back? Do you have to kind of reel him in? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's unique because he does so much. He's still a young player. He's 20 years old. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to get better at. He's got to have a healthy body and be in great shape to play the way he needs to play. And when you're off your feet, and the ankles are those things, you can't really, it's nothing you can do to necessarily speed that up other than work on it every day.
No, when you go that hard, that's where you're putting them. I mean, he goes so hard to the basket, does so many things
well. So, it's just an adjustment, but he's I think from the second half of the Duquesne game, certainly at Mason, he's been really good. And I think he's really doing the things that I think will help him become even more of an efficient player. So, we're working through that with him, but, he's been good about it.
Castro comes here. Reminds me of Isaiah Armwood, who came here from Villanova, but you had Creek from Indiana. You had Tyler Kavanaugh.
Could use a couple of those guys now if they had any eligibility.
If you want to get better, come here because you will get better and you will play a fun style and you'll be in D.C. But Castro may be the most improved Power 5 guy in the country, in my opinion.
He very well could be. He's a thin guy. And when you look at him, and I remember talking to some people, at Providence and guys who'd coached him and talking to people at UConn who are good friends and saying, hey, what do you think? And they're like, no, he's tough. Even though he's skinny, he's tough. And he's proven to be a tough guy, even though he's got that slim frame. In fact, his nickname is Slim. And
good bounce too.
He's a real vertical athlete, really can move his feet. He's got much better hands than I expected.
First thing I said. He catches from the first game. I'm like, he catches everything around the rim.
He's done great. He's
puts it on the floor and goes behind his back and transition. Like, he was much more skilled than I thought.
Yeah.
But it's not just, look, Bishop did well from LSU coming here, and he really flourished under you.
Brendan Adams, obviously.
Brendan Adams, fantastic coming here from UConn. His brother was a great player at St. Bonaventure. Sometimes it's the right level. Sometimes it's the right fit. Sometimes it's the right coach. But you're starting to get a knack. I didn't know who Buchanan was. I know he was at Virginia Tech, went to Jackson Reed a little bit. He's a household name now. Do you think it's just, without giving yourself too much credit, but you should, is it a philosophy? Is it open style? Is it the school makes them more comfortable here?
No, I think this is a great environment for a lot of people, right? Regular students, guys on the basketball team, place to work, place to live. Foggy Bottom's a great area, part of DC. I think our staff's done an incredible job. I think we've got a real commitment to development. And that's what I think when we got here, I tried to make clearly, I'm not trying to just put a team of guys together and let's try to win 20 games and then, that'll be that. It's more that this is a development program and we're trying to get to the point where we're both developing and maintaining success over time. And this is just, it's not the beginning, but we're sort of in that
It's pretty
innocent climb, as Pat Riley would say. You're in that innocent climb of trying to get these guys and to be at their very best. And I think one way to do it now is to bring these guys in who maybe didn't get quite as much playing time wherever they've been, in the Power 5 to a very high level in the Atlantic 10, but given the ability and the playing time to do what they know they can do.
You, the West Coast Conference, the Mountain West Conference, you have that thing where it's a drop from the Power 5s who run the whole world now, but it's not really a drop in charter, play, guys in the pros, etc. So
NIL.
NIL, they have NIL here now. Exactly. I got to close with this. I know he's a coach's son, which we like. Trey Autry's doing. Trey Autry's doing a great job. His dad's Red Autry, played at Syracuse. I think he should get Sixth Man of the Year if the voting's done today. He seems to have handled his role, but he seems to be playing better off the bench.
I've been very, very proud of him. I think, he's very competitive. He cares deeply about, the team, his game, and he's really, really adjusted well into the sophomore year and playing very, very well on both ends.
And remember, today, 2 p.m., St. Louis, big home game. Make sure you come down here. The Smith Center is a great place. The team's playing great. Coach, always pleasure to have you.
Jim.
Thanks for all the insights.
Gas prices got you fuming? No need to get heated. Save time and money with Metro. Ride, save, explore. Metro.
Welcome back to Raise High here at GW. Coach Lee, special guest. We could do a whole show. Played at St. Joe's from the league. Coached at St. Bonaventure in the league. We won't talk about Olean, New York, other than game day. Quinnipiac with the Bobcats.
That's right.
But most importantly, I want to start with this. You played for one of the best high school coaches in the history of the game from Jersey City. Tell us about playing for Bobby Hurley.
Yeah, Coach Hurley, for me, being from Jersey City, most basketball players want to go to St. Anthony's. So I knew early on, as a sixth grader, I wanted to go play at St. Anthony's, and they actually would open the gym.
A small gym, by the way.
A small gym, very small gym. You couldn't shoot from the corner. There's no three-point line in the corner because the ceiling's so low. But I would go to the gym as a middle schooler, 6th, 7th grade, and walk in that gym. And I would liken it to your first time leaving the porch, walking around the neighborhood by yourself. It's just like you mature quickly. And so walking in that gym as a 13-year-old, highly intense, very competitive, kind of iron sharpens iron type of environment. And it was a fun 4 years for me, but learning from one of the best coaches in the country, regardless of level, at that age.
You didn't realize at the time how much you
had no idea.
First step back, point guards, right? I think of Bobby Hurley at our clinic, first step back for point guards to get back on defense. All that little stuff with him. Great wife, obviously. He's got a great son, Bobby Hurley, one of the great players at Duke. But his son, Danny, has now taken over the world with 2 NCAA championships at UConn. But at the time, you don't realize this is going on. But now you are. Is that why you got in coaching?
No, you're getting Hall of Fame level coaching as a 14-year-old. So you have no idea, right? And so you don't know what you don't know, but you just think everyone's doing it this way.
Right. That's kind of what I meant.
And then when you get out of high school, you're like, oh, wait, So why doesn't this guy know shell drill, right? So little things like that, but you're getting that type of coaching at such a young age. I'm not surprised to see what Danny's doing. He's doing it in a very similar way when I watch those guys play, and I think
he's still coaching hard.
How we were in high school. So getting that level of coaching in high school was a blessing, and so kind of made me who I am as a coach today.
You got to talk about how well you're doing here at GW. All 3 years you've been here, but really quickly. Phil Martelli, different from Hurley.
Sure.
And why St. Joe's and the Jesuits in Philadelphia area, from a New Yorker? Was that just the next natural step? Did they recruit you the hardest? Why?
Yeah.
Why St. Joe's?
A lot of A-10 recruitment, was down to 3 Atlantic 10 schools. St. Joe's was my second visit. My third visit, the school, I never made it, So I went there. I knew I was supposed to be there. Family environment, big on just loyalty, and those guys showed me a lot of love, and so it was close enough to home for me as well, which was also important. But he spoke a lot about loyalty, about family, about just being connected as a group, playing for the guy next to you. And so that was some of the things that drew me to playing for him and going to school at St. Joe's.
I just saw Coach Martelli, who really helped
Great
Michigan
guy.
get to the Elite
Great
Eight.
guy.
Obviously, all the wins he had there. Now you come here, Coach Caputo, GW. What have you brought? Obviously, you can recruit. That matters. But
Yeah.
between Hurley and between Martelli, like now you got to carve your own niche, and you will be a head coach one day. What do you bring here, and what do you see at GW? Tell us your vision of like what's going on here at George Washington.
Yeah, just being able to build something substantial, being able to impact the guys, help these guys reach their goals. Those are some of the things we think about as a staff, but leaving something better than we found it. And so, like, we're kind of heading in the right direction. We brought in a lot of young guys, which a lot of people don't do in this day and age. And so this is their second year together as a group. You can kind of start to see things starting to shift a little bit, and so we're kind of right there. And that's something that we want to continue here over the next several years as we continue to kind of lay out a blueprint and get this program back to where, like, the tradition here, you
17
right?
17 NIT NCAA tournaments in 25 years.
For sure. So it's
Go
very,
back to your
very
young
doable.
guy thing quick. I think Bevins is ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Christian Jones, red shirts, nobody wants to do.
Sure.
Wow, those guys' future's bright, but they're playing well now.
No, when you think about, like, back in the day, if you have a group of freshmen and sophomores the way we do now, you're like, man, we're going to be good for the next couple of years. So you can't really think that way as much now, but I do think retention is kind of a separator here. Not saying that
Bishop, I've noticed people seem to be happy once they get there. We're going to get into Castro really quickly, but those two young guys, are you surprised how good they've gotten? Because you see them every day.
No, I think Christian was, as a guy last year, you can all see it. We can all see it, the talent, the natural abilities that he has, just physically wasn't ready. And so for him, he had to mature in the weight room, which he did, put on a bunch of weight. He's much stronger now. And you can kind of see him starting to blossom a little bit. And so, no, I mean, listen, like, we try to go after really good players, high character individuals that really value a GW education, right? And so, like, I think those guys check the boxes for us. And so they're putting the work in. You're going to start to see it kind of show itself here over the next several games, in my opinion. I think for me, it's a big thing, right? You see guys get over that, like, 300-minute threshold. You kind of see them flourish as young players.
St. Louis Saturday today.
Big game.
Richmond coming up, home crowd. You've been in this league before. How important is it to win at home?
You have to win your home games. In order to win our home games, we need the support of our fans. We need our students. We need Georgia's Army here. You guys make a difference. So it's extremely important. I'm talking to our students, our fan base, our donors, everyone, our alums. And some of these games here, they're one-possession games late, right? And so in those moments, man, to get a big stop, man, you just get that roaring from the crowd in the student section. It makes a huge difference.
Thanks, Coach, for coming. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. If you see Coach Lee around campus, please say hi. Wonderful human being.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Raise high, revolutionaries. This is our calling. For more than 200 years, in the heart of the nation's capital, the George Washington University has produced leaders on the global stage. At GW, we are advancing knowledge, serving society, and making an impact. We shape the future. We make history. So rev up, expand your world, ignite your passion, strive for success. Together, we raise high.
Welcome back to Raise High here at GW. Very special guest, Adam Carl. We're excited. Women's assistant. Grew up in Norman, Oklahoma. Worked for Joe McEwen at Northwestern, who we absolutely love, who did a great job here. You've been a lot of interesting places, but you've also been here 4 years. Tell us about your experiences of Norman, Oklahoma, growing up with Kelvin Sampson and all those great players and all those great sports, to going around the country. And now you're here in Washington, D.C. How's everything going?
Going great here. I think growing up in Norman, being around sports, and really, you hit it on the head with Kelvin Sampson, was someone that I watched as a kid growing up, and probably had more to do with me getting into coaching than I realized even at the time. But I still follow them at Houston, but bounced around a little bit. Joe was certainly one of my mentors that I worked for.
Great guy, great coach.
Heard everything about GW 10 years before I got here. So then I got here, and it kind of felt like home. And this is a great spot. And so just working to try to get it back to the levels that he had it a few decades ago.
Tell us how it is recruiting these days with NIL and the way things have changed.
Well, it's just changed so much in the last, since we've been here, really. I mean, that's when NIL came around, and we're just getting used to it here, and the Power Fives have been doing it now for a few years. But it just has changed everything from what kids are looking at, what levels they're going to, and I think you can be competitive depending on how you want to go about it and attack certain kids where maybe in the past you haven't been able to compete for some kids. And then at the end of the day, it's still you want good people that are going to work, that are going to put in the time and be good teammates and be coachable and all those things. So I think a lot of it's the same, but a lot of it has changed.
You see what Caitlin Clark's done. Has that had an effect on the college game for women's? How's the trickle down for women's basketball? Seems like it's on a really ascending.
Yeah, I think it's exploded, especially with those two, Caitlin and Angel, and that has certainly had a trickle down. And I mean, you see that they just announced that the NCAA will be giving shares to make when you make the NCAA tournament, so that just makes it that much more important for conferences to try to get additional bids into the NCAA tournament. But that money had never been there in the past, and now it's there. So I think that's direct reflection from those two in particular.
Yeah, and the women's Final Four is like outdrawing the men on TV. Assistant coaches, you don't get all the glory. You're doing tape, that's DVRs, whatever synergy. You're watching games. You're making players better. You're making sure they're on track for graduate, and the recruiting process never ends. How do you find the assistant coaching world?
I mean, I love it. It's I'm not the type that's looking for credit. The credit is the result that you see when you coach a kid, work with a kid, mentor a kid, and at the end of their 4 years or however long you're with them, they've grown so much. I think you said 4 years that I've been here, so Maxine Ingles, one that I've had the luxury to be around for 4 years. Kaya is one on 3 years, and then Nat is another one who's been here 3 years. So just even those three in particular, seeing them grow from what they were before they even step foot on campus to what they are now, and then what they will be, it's been a joy. So that's the main thing that keeps you motivated.
That's a great answer, because these women are going to go on to do great things besides being basketball players. And I know that even though the WNBA is growing that way, most students, whether NBA or WNBA, are coming here to get a degree and to go on in their life. You have St. Joe's coming up on February 1st. The men have St. Louis today, and the women have St. Joe's. It's a great chance to play at home. The A10 is really a strong women's league. Tell us really quickly, where does that stand? And I know it's not been the easiest season for you, but the winner of the tournament goes to the NCAA. And who's the strongest team? It's Rhode Island right now, and Rhode Island and Richmond.
I would say Richmond, St. Joe's, George Mason, those three in particular are the strongest three teams. And so, I mean, with the A10, it's a battle every single game that you go out there. I tell our team that I think we can beat every team, and I think we can lose to every team. So you got to come ready to play and give it your best. And we've had three that I feel like we've kind of let slip away and haven't made quite enough plays to end with the result that we want. And so I feel confident, moving towards the second part of the conference season that we can get on a roll and get some confidence and get going.
Adam, it was great having you on the show. If you see you around campus, please talk to him. Very interesting story. Thanks for joining us. It's been a great half hour. Exciting day today. Please come to the St. Louis game. It's an awesome experience here at the Smith Center.
The Atlantic 10 by the numbers. 15 universities, 23 sports. A 91% graduation rate honoring the academic achievement of more than 4,500 student athletes. One conference united by diversity, powered by commitment. The A10 is building countless champions in athletics and preparing scholars for life. Great people, great places, extraordinary opportunities, too numerous to count. This is the A10.
Make your trip monumental. Sightsee through DC without overspending on gas and ride shares. Experience DC the local way. Ride, save, explore. Metro.